Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another week of Solid Rock Drogheda Children's Church Online. How are you? Did you have a good week? Wonderful. I'm delighted to hear it. So, can anyone tell me what Mary spoke about last week? Do you remember? Do you want a clue? Name. Yes, indeed. She spoke about the parable of the lost sheep. And she spoke about how each of us has a name, a unique name to us, and how Jesus knows us by our name. That is wonderful. So for today, we're going to talk about another good attribute of God. We're going to talk about God as our provider. So we're going to worship with some songs. You will see the memory verse come on screen and the story, and I'll be back to ask you some questions at the end. Enjoy. See you in a bit.
Where we walk, there you be. stories of the Bible. Jesus feeds the 5,000. This is Jesus,
Heyo!
who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love. He did many miracles and healed people of their sickness.
Oh, hey, everyone!
A huge crowd kept following him wherever he went because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. A crowd started to gather around Jesus. There were 5,000 men and many more women and children. Turning to Philip, he asked,
Hey, Philip!
"Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" You see, Jesus was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. Philip replied, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them."
Hey, I got an idea.
Then Andrew spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" Jesus said, "Tell everyone to sit down."
Right, everyone, sit down.
Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks to God, and gave them to the people.
Here you go.
Afterward, he did the same with the fish. And they all ate as much as they wanted.
Want some more?
I'm all good, thanks.
After everyone was full, Jesus told his disciples, "Now gather the leftovers, so that nothing is wasted."
You got it.
So they picked up the pieces and filled 12 baskets with scraps, left by the people who had eaten from the 5 barley loaves and 2 fish.
Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed the worship and I hope you enjoyed the story. So I'm going to ask you a few questions just to make sure that you understood what we talked about today. So the first one, the people in the crowd were hungry. So Jesus asked his disciple a question. What was the question? Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat? Absolutely. That's what Jesus wanted to know. But this was a test, boys and girls. The next question. How much wages did Philip say it would take to feed all the people? If you said 8 months' wages, that's absolutely correct. So wages like the pay. You know when your mums and dads, they go out and they do the work, in a shop or in a school or in an office, then they get the pay or the wages. Now, can you imagine 8 months' wages? That's a lot of money. So next question. Someone in the crowd had some food. Who was it? Was it A, a girl, or B, a boy? If you said B, a boy, that is correct. Next one. So how many loaves and fish did the boy have? If you said 5 loaves and 2 fish, that is the correct answer. What did Jesus do before he fed the crowd? He asked them to sit, he gave thanks, and then he broke the loaves and fish and fed them. Absolutely. Do you always remember to say thanks before you eat? I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget. So let's try and do better. Okay? Wonderful. And then the last one. So the people ate and they were filled, but there was food left over. How many baskets? Can you remember? 12 baskets full of leftovers. Well done, boys and girls. You did a great job. So there are 2 things that I really love about this story. The first one is that it was an ordinary boy that came up with loaves and fish. And you know what? God can use an ordinary boy. He can use an ordinary boy like you, or he can use an ordinary girl like me to do amazing things. The second part of the story that I loved The boy was kind. He was generous. So he had something to share. He could have ate all his lunch silently away and said nothing, but he didn't do that. He came up generously, giving what he had so that others could benefit. And that's really awesome. So that's it for another week. Thank you for watching, boys and girls. See you next week. Have a good week. Bye.
Waking up knowing there's a reason. All my dreams come alive. Life is for living. With you, I've made my decision. You lift me up, fill my eyes with wonder. Forever young in your love, this freedom's untainted. With you, no moment is